Hello and welcome to James Talks Property. If you're new here, my name's James and I'm on a mission to help property investors grow their knowledge and understanding of the UK investment market. I've personally helped thousands of investors plan and scale property portfolios throughout the UK. I'm the co-founder and managing director of a property investment business, Freighter Property Partners, but this channel is all about helping you grow your knowledge without gimmicks or unrealistic promises. Today's video is all about identifying potential property hotspots throughout the UK and how we can do that moving forward. Before we get into it, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel and share it with anyone else who might be interested. Buying in the wrong location can very much kill your return on investment, whereas buying in the right location could potentially change your future. In this video, we're going to cover the fundamentals and ingredients that make up a property investment hotspot and how you can spot them. I'll also attach some tools and resources in the description that may help you with identifying UK hotspots. So, the first thing you should look for when looking for a potential hotspot to invest in the UK is employment opportunities. That is both current opportunities for jobs as well as future opportunities moving forward. This is a massive impacting factor on whether a place might be an attractive investment location moving forward. If there's lots of businesses moving to the area, if there's already a diverse employment market, then the chances are people will move there for job opportunities, demand will increase for the local market, which means house prices are likely to increase because of that increase in demand. You should be able to identify these places just through the media. You'll see articles online about big businesses moving to new locations, and then that will have an impact moving forward. This is things like tech hubs, finance centres, logistics and healthcare expansions. One example of this that you could have identified many years ago now would have been the introduction to Media City in Manchester. This is obviously now a tech hub focused on the media, but 15-20 years ago when this was just introduced, property prices were significantly lower and have seen growth over the last 10 and 15 years. And if we take Manchester as an example for this one, you'll see almost 80% of FTSE 100 companies now have some sort of presence within the city of Manchester. That means that people who are based further north, in and around the northwest and other locations, are more likely to move to Manchester for those opportunities. The next thing to look for a possible investment location hotspot is the transport links. Those transport links are likely to be comprised of local, national and maybe even international transport links. We're looking for things like direct trains into London and other major UK cities, maybe a local tram network that's expanding and making locations outside city centres more attractive for people to live in, international access with growing routes for things like leisure and business travel, but also logistics. And again, if we follow those locations, you'll see places like Manchester, Nottingham, and so on. One of the major impacts in recent years with opportunities for appreciation is the links of HS2. Previously, locations like Crewe and Manchester were meant to be impacted by the new introduction of HS2. It looks like that will now stop at Birmingham, but HS2 for Birmingham would be a great opportunity as it will give people the opportunity to live in a more affordable location and travel into London a couple days a week. This might mean that somewhere like Birmingham could have great opportunity for appreciation over the next 10 to 15 years. On the subject of HS2, that brings me on to the next thing that you need to look for when identifying a UK hotspot, and that is institutional investment. So institutional investment comes down to spending by any governing body or private institutions that is impacting the local economy. That's not just £1 million here or there, it's tens of or hundreds of millions of pounds, if not billions of pounds worth of investment that are completely transforming areas within a city or areas of the country. We can follow things like big pension institutions and other institutions that do lots and lots of significant due diligence, because if they're putting their money into those locations, you can be confident it's going to be an area that should have significant growth moving forward. Not only that, but institutional investment brings with it the improvement of the other fundamentals or ingredients. So big investment improves job opportunities. It improves transport links as well as desirability, which again will have a positive impact on growth moving forward and the appreciation of the assets in that location. An example of this will be the Liverpool Water's master scheme on the waterfront in Liverpool at the moment. There's a multi-billion pound investment scheme transforming the waterfront of Liverpool, introducing new office space, new retail space and leisure space, as well as obviously residential homes for people. We saw this in Manchester with Media City, and there's a few other locations across Manchester where you can see this institutional investment schemes, as well as other locations across the country, like Birmingham's Big City Plan, Nottingham's regeneration, as well as Derby City Centre regeneration. When we're looking at this institutional investment, we don't want to just invest into locations that have had significant investment schemes. We want to look at plans for those schemes, as well as things that have just started and are maybe 10 or 15 year investment schemes that we can see the opportunity for growth in that 10 or 15 year time frame. As we know, property is not an overnight game. It's a long-term investment opportunity to build wealth over time, and if we pick those locations properly, we'll give ourselves the opportunity to build our wealth. The next is the rental demand drivers. This is things like universities, high quality schools and lifestyle amenities that make a location an attractive place to live for both home buyers and tenants. When a location has things like universities and good quality schools, as well as restaurants, coffee shops and retail facilities, people are going to want to live close to them. So if we can get into a location that has improving areas or aspects of this, we're going to see the growth moving forward. Again, it doesn't have to be the most desirable location within a city. It can be an area which is attractive but is improving over time. So in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be a place that has really high demand. The fifth and final thing you need to look at when identifying a potential property hotspot is affordability. The reason for this is if we look at all of the other things that we've discussed in this video, the place that has the best fundamentals in the country is obviously London. London has great transport links, obviously with the tube, multiple airports, strong rail, as well as bus routes. It has brilliant employment opportunities, it's had institutional investment and has great amenities throughout the City of London. The difficulty with London is affordability. There's loads of data that you can look at in terms of capital growth, as well as affordability within London through the Office for National Statistics, as well as other sources that show that affordability just isn't there in London anymore. The way we know that is we can compare the average purchase price of property with the average salary of the average couple in London, and affordability has dropped significantly over the last 15 to 20 years. As a result of that, London's growth has actually been pretty poor over the last few years since 2016. And the main reason is we've got to allow time for salaries to catch up with the prices of property in London. Prices have got to a point where they've almost hit a ceiling. There's not that many opportunities for appreciation for the city as a whole unless salaries start to catch up. So what we need to do is avoid locations that are already punchy. If a location isn't affordable for the average couple on the average salary, the chances are the scope for growth may not be as high as other locations. When we look at residential lending, the average person can usually get about 4.5 to 5 times their salary. So if prices are significantly more than that, let's say 10, 15 or 20 times that, then obviously there's going to be a ceiling to that appreciation. Remember, we're looking for the next best locations, not necessarily the best location in today's market. So that includes things like up and coming neighbourhoods within cities, areas in and around major city centres, but also some prime locations. For example, Manchester will still perform really well in terms of capital growth. If you can still afford the city centre, then brilliant. Look at a good quality prime city centre location because demand is high and employment is improving. However, if you can't afford that, then it might be worth looking at some places in and around the city centre. 10 or 15 minutes on the train or the tram, give yourself the opportunity to be in a commuter location that is still attractive and close to the city centre. We'll start to see that ripple effect that we saw in London a few years ago, and we should see strong appreciation in those locations. That doesn't mean we just forget about the other fundamentals. We still need to look for the other stuff that we've discussed, but if we can marry affordability with those fundamentals and look at up and coming areas, it's giving us a great opportunity to find some hotspots. So to recap, we need to look at institutional investment, employment, transport links, rental drivers, as well as affordability. If you're trying to analyse whether a place could be a good investment location, then start to look at these to narrow down whether it's the right place for you to invest. One of the tools is property data. Quite a few of my clients have used that in the past and said that it's a really good tool to save them time and effort, and I've put a link to the website in the description. So that is that. In my opinion, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's not going to change your life overnight. But if you apply this framework and you tick off each thing when you're looking at a new location, the chances are you're going to be in and around the right areas. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.